I got laughed at for saying it then. It seems prophetic now. I look forward to those same journalists doing a follow-up to apologize. Well, let me say this, TARP has seriously eroded our free market at the expense of government control. The Bank of America found out just how bad things they were at Merrill Lynch. They had second serious thoughts about their agreement to take Merrill over. But the government insisted they go through with it because of the TARP money they were getting. So I want to make sure we understand the government says this: we're the government, and we're really here to help you. But what that means is we're really here to run your business. Lenin and Stalin would love this stuff. Then Obama came in and it got worse. $800 billion Democrat spending spree they call a stimulus. Now, I think we should have known something was wrong when that 1,100-page bill that nobody read actually did have a title. It's the name of a movie, Confessions of a Shopaholic. Now, all of us here today are upset about it, but imagine the people at my state's large industry, Tyson Foods, and how they must feel. They just now have lost their claim to being the world's largest producer of pork. We know that this disaster of a stimulus is nothing but an excuse for the Democrats to expand government spending and power, to give more money to every federal agency. The Democrats are ruthlessly exploiting the pain and fear of a whole lot of Americans to ignore the normal budget process and impose a long-term, far-left agenda that has nothing whatsoever to do with creating jobs. Growing government and growing our economy are two very different things. And to create jobs, we need to cut taxes for families and corporations, cut the payroll taxes, cut the capital gains taxes. Many of you may know I am a loud voice to rid ourselves of the entire current tax structure because it penalizes productivity, and we ought to eliminate the taxes and shut down the IRS and the fair tax. And one thing that would be helpful in, we would no longer have a tax cheat running the IRS. Now, part of that would mean repealing the 16th Amendment, which wouldn't be a bad idea, getting rid of the very basis of taxing our productivity, which has been so counterproductive to our economy. But this is something that would really stimulate the economy and put Americans to work, which ought to be the goal. We've got to let the free market work. And creative destruction is a part of that process. Deserving companies deserve to survive. The weak ones sometimes are going to fail. That happens in a marketplace. More innovative and efficient companies will rise up to take their place, and everybody ultimately benefits, even though there may be some temporary pain. When the free market is allowed to function without Barney Frank putting his hand on the scale, people don't buy homes they can't afford because nobody will make them a loan. When the free market is allowed to function without John Dingell's intervention, car companies won't stay in business when they make automobiles that no one wants to buy. Government doesn't always do any favors when it gums up the works of the free market by trying to put more Americans into homes they can afford, or exempting them from our cars that have fuel and safety standards that foreign manufacturers may offer. Eventually, the whole thing will come crashing down on us, and the answer is not for government to step back from the mess it has helped create, but rather to let the market mechanisms do their thing and return the system to equilibrium. Now, we correctly condemn the left's shameful ruse in using this recession to pass an agenda that they've wanted for 40 years. But what about the conservatives who are using our defeat as an excuse to remake the Republican Party in their image? I want to be very honest with you today. I can't stand here and complain about the speck in the eyes of liberals without pointing out the beam in some of the conservative eyes. Some fiscal conservatives sometimes will ostracize social conservatives, and I'm going to tell you this is ridiculous for two reasons. First, social conservatives stand for strong traditional families and the dignity and the value and intrinsic worth of every individual life. We are the party and the movement that believes in the power, the strength, and the dignity of every individual from the time of his conception until God has decided that his life is something to conclusion. Those of us who are fiscal conservatives need to understand that we will never meet our goals of limited government, less government spending, and lower taxes if we don't have strong families. Because if families don't do their jobs, government will end up trying to pick up the slack. It's that simple. Children whose parents never married, or children whose parents divorce are more likely, to grow up in poverty, drop out of school, become involved with drugs and crime, end up in poor health, and earn less over their lifetimes, which ultimately means that citizens become tax takers rather than taxpayers, citizens who become dependent rather than self-reliant. More money than is needed for Medicaid, food stamps, and prisons. So the fortunes of social conservatives and fiscal conservatives are interwoven. Let's not have a divorce. Let's have a reconciliation. Let's put this movement back together, understanding that both of the wings of the party, the left and the right, the left, are needed in order for the conservative movement to fly. We didn't lose because of social conservatives. We lost because we wanted somehow to be the party that forgot what we stood for. I want to remind us all of something. We didn't lose because we wanted to keep unborn babies from ending up in a wastebasket. We lost elections because we were tied to too many people who would spend $1,400 on a wastebasket like the clueless John thing. A poll just before the election asked which class each candidate's policies would favor, and 59% said that John McCain would favor the rich, only 11% said he would favor the middle class. Now, whether that was true or not, the point is we can't win with numbers like that. We cannot win as the party of the $1,400 wastebasket and the $87,000 area rug. Where I come from, $1,400 will buy you 3 college classes at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, and $87,000 isn't the price of a rug, it's the price of a house. So let's stop pretending that we lost because people were worried about losing access to abortions, because what they were really worried about was losing their jobs, their homes, their health insurance, their retirement funds. Ronald Reagan won because he understood this. He did not win because he threw social conservatives under the bus. He won by convincing those who drove the bus or worked in the assembly lines and in the office parks that the Republican Party was going to be their party too. And we lose that connection, we lose the election. That's why we have to be. The communists and the bloggers and talking heads are moaning, oh, who are we? What do we stand for? Well, we still stand for the same things. The limited government, but the unlimited opportunity. Keeping both government spending and taxes as low as possible, and letting mothers and fathers raise their kids instead of expecting the government to do it for us. We don't need new plans, but we've got to communicate our principles better. We've got to get the word out that the Republican Party is not just a haven for rich white guys who are wanting to get richer, but it's a party for all men and all women, for Latinos and African Americans and Asians, for legal immigrants and the native born, all to prosper and achieve their dreams, to live a better life than their parents while creating an even better one for their children. And it's not enough for us to proclaim our principles. When we win, we actually have to live up to them. We need to believe. We believe in a level playing field, while the Democrats just want a level finish line. We are the America of the World Series. They want to be the America of T-ball, where everybody plays exactly the same. Democrats are obsessed with dividing a single loaf of bread among an increasingly dependent population. We don't believe that we're limited to the single loaf. We believe that in a free market, it's possible to see the fish in the loaves so that everybody can multiply and have more. The Democrats offer a step stool. We conservatives want a ladder whose final rung you can't even imagine when you